Oh, well, I'm walking on the street close to where I first lived in Grenada. I've mentioned in my previous tips, Cherry Hill. I'm going to walk up and I'm going to reach the Cherry Hill area. But first of all, let me pause. I'll pause here to look at what I think is a nice little beach. Look at it. Nice little beach. And of course, I'm sure many who are looking at this from your living rooms in Canada or in Brooklyn, I'm sure you wouldn't mind just taking a little dip in the water here. Yes, take a little dip in the water. So yes, an area I was familiar with, but I wouldn't go back into the story about Hurricane Janet because I've done that quite a number of times, telling you of how I lived in this area and how Miss Ferguson offered us shelter when Hurricane Janet struck Grenada. Not only struck Grenada, you know, but Hurricane Janet planast Grenada. Put a proper planasting on Grenada. So don't all them not trees. And Grenada took, of course, years to recover. Now walking up a hill might get you breathless, but I ate enough blogo and fig. I still have some saltfish sauce. I made saltfish sauce yesterday, and I still have some. So I'm going to have it. I took out as much of the salt as possible because, you know, salt is not good. But again, a saltless or saltfish is no saltfish at all. No saltfish at all. So, moving up on the hill. And don't get scared for me. I used to walk across the crack. And I did that before I came down here. So the legs are accustomed to walking. And we had some hot days in Brooklyn. So cool like a cucumber. So I just saw a very good friend. She stopped. We had a nice chat. A very nice chat. Hey, is that a walk? I go walk. We had a very nice chat. You know, so good. Good morning. Afternoon. Yeah, mix up the time. See, when you're in morning is like afternoon, and afternoon is like morning. So I'll just sit down here for a little while. Not that I'm tired, but it's a nice little seat here. I'll sit down and just keep the camera steady so that I can talk. Well, this area has undergone changes over time, and that is expected. Things don't remain the same. Change is constant, we all know, and move we must with time. So expect changes. Even the elements, nature, erosion will change up the landscape. So what you see today, you may not see tomorrow. A hurricane passes, knock down the houses, and then they build new houses. And if you don't have pictures of the houses that existed before, well then that's gone. So that is why it's good to capture images, pictures and videos, because our grandchildren would like to look back and see how things were back in time. So I'm sitting here, and you know what? Again, I'll mention, it's a nice breeze, a nice breeze. Reminds me of the saying, you remember the saying? Monkey say cool breeze. But when monkey say cool breeze, Crapo said wait a while. So monkey on a tree, everything nice, nice, nice. Some people say baboon. Baboon say cool breeze. On a tree, enjoying the nice cool breeze. And they say monkey or baboon, which one they want to say? Say cool breeze. But at the same time, Crapo on the ground, looking out to sea. The Crapo say, wait a while, because you know what? When the Crapo is looking out, it saw the darkened clouds in the sky, and Crapo knew that the weather was going to change. So while baboon and monkey was saying cool breeze, when the weather changed, it was no longer cool breeze, you know. It was wind for so. And all man and the brother had to take cover. A little storytelling there. Well, let me get over here, because the way them guys come around that corner there, they might make a mistake. So let me get up and continue to walk. So I am up here on Cherry Hill, and I guess the name Cherry Hill maybe stemmed from the fact that there were a lot of cherries. But that is not what I remember about Cherry Hill. What I remembered about Cherry Hill was, or is, the smell of roasted cashews. Roasted cashews. You know, there are things that stick in the mind, eh? And years will pass. Good day, how are you? Yes. There are things that stick in the mind, and years will pass, and those images will remain in the mind. And cashews, smell of, some people, you know, we say cashew. You have French cashew, and then some people say kushu. Kushu. You see, we like to change up things, eh? Whatever suits us, we change it up. Alright. Whatever suits us best, we'll say. So, we will say kushu. Well, I was a little boy when I lived in this area, and I'm not going to talk about it because I made another tape, and here is the sign. My old hometown. Welcome to Cherry Hill. Once the home of Miss Ferguson, once the home of a guy called Basil, and another one called Arnold. Yes, one's the home of Mr. Mickey, the fisherman, and one's the home of my mother Georgina the Riggs. And I always paused. I did it in a tape when I came here last January. I always pause. I always pause to thank God for saving our lives while Hurricane Janet struck. I always have to reflect on that. I always have to talk about it, because it could have been different. Hello, how are you? It could have been different. Looking out there, we can actually see Grenada's beach in the distance out there. Grenada's, the Great Bay. Grenada's beach. And of course, you see the boats there. And that jetty where the tourist boats come in near the Esplanade. Looking for the, not further, I think it's nearer, of course. And then you're walking and you're talking, this impromptu thing. When they do the impromptu thing, boy, you're not prepared, spontaneous. You say any damn thing. Yeah, so it's actually nearer. Looking at the Cemetery Hill area, which will come into view in a little while. Let me get a view of the side. Let me bring this down a bit. View of the side and the cars coming along here. See the sides. One side, the other side. Good old Cherry Hill. Here come the trucks. Now the big trucks in the gotta walk on the side because some spots do not have sidewalk. No sidewalk here, which is good. As you see, these cars now occupy the sidewalk. So you have to walk in the road. And when these guys come along speeding, gotta be careful, make sure. You have to be vigilant. Be vigilant. Now wherever you go in Grenada, whether it is in Grenville, Soubise, St. Patrick, whether it is in Liverpool, the sights are just stunning. The sights are just stunning. And indeed, Grenada is such a beautiful place. The gem of the Caribbean. That's why so many people have their eyes on the Isle of Spice. In this area, I can remember even from my trips years ago coming to this area, one thing I remember, something that was offensive to the nose, the nostril. The smell of pig pen. Boy, when a pig pen smell hit you, when that pig pen hit you, the smell, you remember it as I'm remembering that now. But I'm not smelling that now. That's way in the past. Here we see the bush, and it's all over, all over. I saw it in Pearls, the Mexican creeper. And one of the things about this bush that the bees love so much, the bees love that bush. Some people call it the cemetery bush because you'll find that bush in the cemeteries, and I don't know, I don't have an explanation for that, why you'll find that bush growing in the cemeteries. On this side, on the other side, there is some right here, a bunch of them right up there. That vine is hard to control, but if you cut it all down, And the bees, we used to call it the bee bush. The bees love it. So make your choice. Take your choice. Stifling the trees or having honey. Hello, hello. Hi, hi. Yeah. Now, somebody told me, that you see this area here? Well, again, an area that has undergone great changes. Years ago, horse racing was a big thing in Grenada. And the landform here was a little different. You know, over time, again, just emphasize the point that things change from time to time. So they said that the horse trainers and the jockeys and so on used to walk with their horses from that area there, walk with the horses right up to this area here. I guess it was all sand. Just as down in that spot down there where you can see here, where we had that wonderful beach called Miami Beach, where we used to bathe. You know what, Miami Beach? And I remember Miami Beach so well, because on Sundays, that is where we used to go and bathe. There are people who still argue, trying to figure out the exact spot where Miami Beach was. Some will tell you it was right by, what's that, the NIS building, and coming down to where Andal was located, or close to where Back Street. But I remember there were guys who used to jump into the water there. The water was deep. And even by the Green Bridge right here, they used to jump into the sea there, in the water, with the spot where the sea and the river meet, known as the Boucherie. They used to jump right down into the water. Get a little view of the water here. And again, I'll record Mr. Mickey, who used to fish right in this area here, walking all here. And I guess he used to catch hackleberry and grunt and bobby and probably snapper and shitty. And in a previous video, I mentioned that nobody wanted to bathe in that area where by the tunnel and the steps, you know, where the car park is there now. Nobody wanted to bathe there because the hospital was close by. The dead house was up on top there, and people didn't like the idea of the dead house and hospital waste and all that stuff coming into the water. So nobody used to want to bathe up there. Let me continue walking. I'm leaving Cherry Hill, and memories of Cherry Hill for my son, my granddaughter, and all the others who are interested, who find interest in this. I don't know where I'm getting the energy to do it. Yes, sir. Let me hurry up here. Go and get a rice and peas and fish. Yes, I can even hear somebody saying, Emmanuel and others, boy like food. Well, of course, like the fuel. You think I could make this tip if I eat good? Remember a guy in Brooklyn? I'm going to call his name. He used to put a lot of food on the table for all his friends. Yes, he used to put the food for them. He loved to cook. All kind of food, boy. Goat meat and curry chicken and all kind of food he used to cook. But he put in the food in front. As you sit on the table, he put the food in front of you. And as soon as you dipped into the food with your fork, He used to say, boy, you glad you know me, eh? You glad you know me? And when somebody asked him, well, how come you ain't eating? He would say, jokingly of course, you think I stupid to eat that? It's me that cook that. I ain't stupid to eat that. Now we're moving into an area. Who remembers the power station? Well, I did touch on horse racing, because horse racing was big in Grenada. Remember horse Captain Carlos? And some of you remember all the people who own horses, Ranch and Joshua Town and all the others who own horses. Let me pause to look at the Dabo area up there. And of course, remember the power station? Well, the pumping station used to pump out the water from Queen's Park. And back in those days, that area looking at Grenada James Boulevard was an area that we used to play our games, cricket and football and all that stuff. You cannot see the stadium, the other one. This is the athletic stadium in honor of our great Grenada James